Hello again, YouTube. This is the Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel. Listen, I want to talk to you about a man's mental awareness and when he awakens and escapes the Matrix. And I'm kind of talking to both men and women on this one. Because a lot of women don't realize that if you playing games with a guy, like you doing little stuff, you saying little stuff, whether it's intentional or not intentional, it's gonna be a dangerous thing when he wake up on you. Because when he wakes up, that little stuff that you do is not gonna work anymore. Here's where married couples get divorced. Right up in here. When those games, when he starts to awaken and he starts, okay, look at it like this. While he's asleep and you're playing games, it's like he may look at it like, man, you know what, man, I could have handled that better. You know what, man, that was my fault. You know what? And most guys is gonna blame themselves for everything that goes wrong in their relationship and in life in general, in the family life in general. They're gonna blame themselves while they're asleep. But as he begins to wake up, it's gonna be a dangerous thing for you. And I don't even mean physical, because I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of times the women get more physical than most of these guys. Now, we all hear about things that happen, but collectively, these things don't happen often, that much. But what does happen a lot is when a guy awakens to a woman's games and he no longer wants to deal with her, a lot of them, they true colors start to come out. Now they trying to get you arrested. Now you this, now you that. He gay, he ain't good sexually, he this, he that. These are the games they play when the games that they consistently play don't work. Then they result to victimhood. The victimhood is subtle while the man is asleep. But when he begins to wake up, and when he wakes up, it's no longer subtle. It's out in the open. So when women play those games like nagging you all the time, criticizing you like you don't do nothing right. You know, those games, like you ain't never did nothing right, like you don't do nothing right. And while you sleep, you'll be like, you know what? She's right. She's right. You know, I could do better. I should do better. You know what? She's right. When in some cases it be a man just being a man, standing up for himself. Oh, you shouldn't have did that. You be like, you know what? She's right, while you sleep. You start waking up, you like, whoa, wait a minute. Man, they was picking with me on that job. They was starting up with me. I was being professional. I was trying to do my part. When you start waking up, ain't no way I'm going without sex. That's what a guy did. He deals with the games. He gets into it with his wife or his girlfriend, and she punishes him by not talking to him or not having sex with him. But when he begins to wake up, he like, wait a minute. He might open this Bible up and go to 2 Samuel chapter 12 and be like, so you mean to tell me a guy can have multiple wives? Or go to Deuteronomy 24. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that a guy can divorce his wife, but she can't divorce her husband? See, though, that's what I'm talking about when I say starting to wake up. Even just pearly things knows what the Bible teaches concerning this. So if she can know, then all of y'all should know. That's a shame. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. But when a man begins to wake up, that's when everything is going to get turned upside down. You be like, wait a minute. So I did all of this for you all these years, and I had a couple failures, and you permanently disqualifying me from success, that kind of thing. Y'all get it now? Y'all get it now? You filed bankruptcy. Your girlfriend criticized you. Your wife criticized you. Compliment guys that's doing better than you financially. And you start waking up. You start waking up. And you like, man, this chick is evil. And the whole time, sometimes you'll be thinking they righteous. And it's not that they like a horrible person. It's just when they get to relying on their emotions as a woman, and y'all know I'm telling the truth. A lot of women won't admit this. You can't rely on your emotions as a woman. You got to stick to the factual information, and you gotta know how to pray and to find things out. And you got to know how to submit and to follow his lead, and to be willing to sink or swim with your man. But a lot of them ain't willing to do that. You know what they do? It's so much easier to just criticize. Call him a dusty, call him a bum. Say, yeah, you had plans before, but they failed. See, all of that's real easy. It's real easy. But when he start waking up and he starts seeing, you know what? She dealing with a lot of trauma. That's why she takes those approaches. She never got over this happening to her or that happening to her. Wait, this ain't. I thought my mother got a car like that. I was like, well, I know that ain't my mother with a flat tire. But she would have called me anyway. He started waking up and he started saying, yeah, I got some stuff I don't need to work on. But all of these problems and issues ain't just me. And see, this is a matter of fact, you don't rely on a woman to gain money and to pay bills and this, that, and the other. But when things start to go awry, she should have a willingness in her to do it. Y'all ever see the video with the guy that lied to, he was playing a little trick on his wife, and he told her he was paying a lot of bills, he ain't have enough money, and she went on her Cash App and was finna cash out him $200, and he was like, oh no, I was just playing, I just wanted to see what you was gonna do. See, you ladies need to be like that down the stretch. Because what the stat is, especially you black women, see, guys know this stat, man. They waking up. It's going to be harder for you. 50 to 59-year-old black women filed divorce. What was it? It was very high. It was very high. That's the main group. When they get that age, that they file divorce. So if you having problems with her at 43, by the time she hit 50, she probably gonna put that paperwork in on you, and you have been wasted 7 years. So this ain't gonna be my shortest video. I gotta break this thing down. So it's so easy to blame everything on the man, but it take two to tango. It take two to tango. We supposed to be keeping ourselves in shape. We supposed to be keeping some money. Even, I would say, even if you're a stay-at-home mother, right? You don't, if y'all make enough, which by the way, listen, that stuff it don't work no more. It don't work no more. So if a guy is not like a brain surgeon or something, how's his wife gonna stay at home and nothing gets rocky or patchy? If he ain't like 6 figures, see, I'm telling you, it's so easy to misevaluate a situation. They get to looking at other people. They get to looking at other people, but they don't look at all the factors involved. They get to looking at dudes that don't got no kids. They get to looking at dudes that got a dual income in this house. And they try to compare you as a a guy with a stay-at-home girlfriend or wife to guys that got working spouses and girlfriend. This is what people do. But when he start to wake up, he gonna be like, wait a minute. You trying to have 1995 philosophy in 2023. Like, now, this the way it is now. And I made videos about this before. How it is now is if you have a stay-at-home spouse, everything has to always go right. Can't nothing go wrong with your cars. Can't nothing go wrong with you. Everything just has to go right unless you making bank. That 40,000, let me tell you something, it ain't no way. There's no manageable way to manage 40,000. It's just not. See, it's easy to say, well, you should have did this. But there's no manageable way with $40,000 unless you by yourself. It gets a little more possible. When you got a whole family, a whole household of people, this ain't 1985. G.I. Joe and Leave It to Beaver ain't on TV no more. That's when people was making it happen with 40,000. $200 mortgages. No, this bill, that bill, food. Like a Big Mac value meal, I kid you not, I remember, was $2.99. Now you go in there, you're going to pay $9. Bread, what was bread, like 66 cents? Now, the cheapest bread is $1.80. See, and that stuff adds up. You out, you want a soda. Sodas is $1.99. They used to be like $1.15, like $1. Remember them Snapple juices was 99 cents when they first came out? Not no more. So all of this stuff be adding up. Adding up. Their money get to disappearing. Oh, you should have been doing this. The guy that's waking up, he started looking at it like, arguing drains the energy that I need to get out here and do what I got to do. You deal with a guy that start waking up. He gonna appear to be harsh. Gonna be like, man, we can't be getting sick. We can't be getting sick. You lose production when you get sick. See, I remember when I was a kid, I could get sick and I just play video games. Now I get sick as a self-employed man, it's trouble. It's trouble. So when a guy starts waking up and then you start seeing the single women numbers climbing, that's why. Because guys is waking up. They waking up. All that little criticizing y'all do, guys is waking up. You think that, and this is what people do. They'll diss the first dude, right? And they'll think that they gonna mysteriously and magically find this great guy. And they diss this dude back here, and they still got karma back here. You see? That's why I tell you guys, do not cheat on these women. When they start dogging you out, just leave them alone. Don't go eye for an eye in relationships. Because what happens is, and definitely don't mess with another man's wife. Because that stuff is going to come back on you. All that being a player, you going to stop being a player, and then you going to get with somebody that ain't doing what you was doing back here. Or you going to get with a chick, this how it be. You playing on girls. good girls, breaking their heart and stuff like that. Then you gonna get with somebody that's sneaky, that ain't telling you everything, that be sneaking around watching guys just because they online looking for handsome guys to look at, flirting around at work, all this stuff going. I'm telling you, man, do it the right way, because all of that stuff will come back on you. Now you got one, you had all these chicks wanting you. You were breaking their hearts. Now you got one that don't. That's how it works. You got all these chicks. Go ahead, go do it. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You get rid of all of them, now you got one that don't think you're gonna be successful. That's how it be. And that's why when you young, do not be using these girls for sex. Do not be breaking these girls' heart. Tell them the truth. If that's what you want to do, let them know that out the gate. And if they mess with you, then it's up to them. But when you play these games, it's like one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be out of the matrix and you're going to be like, man, I should have did this, should have been doing this, should have been doing that. And it's going to be harder for you, especially if you wake up when you get older, like in your 40s, and you don't have the same energy that you had in most cases in your 20s. Now, how you get energy in your 40s, you still can have energy. You just got to eat right and you got to sleep. You got to get sleep. But you still, even with all of that, you still going to be more tired. So don't play those games, because when you wake up, it's going to be hard. So what a lot of women is seeing is that guys is waking up and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. Because let's say, how many guys think like me? In my mind, I say it's very unlikely that I'll ever marry again. But if I did, it's going to be totally different, and it ain't going to be no marriage license, because if she start getting on my nerve, I'm going to dump her. And that's why it's very unlikely that I'll have kids. Kids be right in the middle. They be right in the middle. Like, your kids want both of their parents. But when them games start getting played, because, I believe every woman changes when she start having kids. Some for the better, most for the worse. They do. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a chemical balance in their brain is thrown off. But when a guy start waking up, he gonna be looking at you like, who you think you is? Like, why does she talk to me like this? Does she not think that I'll pack up and leave? And she be so blinded by her games. She just thinks she just gonna put the white folks on you. If you black, just put the white folks on them. Court, jail. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about that jail stuff. I worked in jails. I know how jails go. Ain't nobody scared of no jails. That's what they think. Oh, well, you'll just be in jail. Jail is nothing. I know how to fight. I know how to defend myself. There's nothing. It's nothing. I know how to survive mentally. I'm mentally strong. They get to thinking that they somehow gon' just put these court folks on you, and them court folks gonna straighten you out. And can't nobody make me do nothing that I'm not willing to do. Nothing. And when a guy starts waking up, These are the type of mindsets that he has. They can't nobody make him do nothing that he ain't willing to do. So they play these games. And then this is what they do. This is how it be. They done messed their relationship up. They done moved on. They'll get with somebody else. And they'll be good for a little while. But they never dealt with the games that they play. So after a while, when he starts saying, oh, I love you, this, that, she's going to start playing those games again. Arguing, nagging, complaining about stuff that she's supposed to be doing. Not doing stuff she's supposed to do. Expecting you to do everything because you're a man. And then he wakes up. So now she's divorced for a second time. And then some women, it comes a third. They know how to talk. They know how to present themselves. They know how to act fake. Because this, Coach Greg said it like this. He said all women are chameleons. I believe that too. I believe that too. And here's why. Because if they weren't, the divorce rate wouldn't be as high as it is. See, they was good enough to make somebody want to marry them. But look at the divorce rate. So y'all want us to believe that all of these divorces is these guys. I don't believe hardly any of them is, especially in the case where they got kids. I believe it's women, in most cases, failing to reach the maturity level to be a successful wife. Or if they do reach the maturity level, failing to stay at that level. You know, it's just, you be a dude, nowadays you be a dude that just don't believe in arguing. But you have to argue with these people, man, because it's people out here that will not stop. You try not to argue with them, it's just gonna make them go another step. But you got women that I think the worst thing a woman could do, whether your husband is up or down, the worst thing you could do, it's a couple things. But I think the absolute worst thing you could do is call him names, insult him, kicking him while he's down. Especially being that y'all supposed to be a team. You can't just say, go ahead. It's supposed to be both of y'all out there playing the game. But a lot of women, they be like this. Go ahead. They push you out there. And you doing the best you can and you fail. And then you come back. And it's like, it almost reminds me of, man, I keep using this example. This is a perfect example. Back in the 90s and the 80s when I used to watch wrestling, when Barry Windham and Lex Luger were tag team partners. And it's like J.J. Dillon was getting in Barry Windham's head, trying to get him to become a horseman. So when they went against the four horsemen for the tag team titles, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Luger, I know it's just stage wrestling, but it's just so deep. I'm telling you, I can see like life situations from this. Luger fighting them, and he getting beat up, and he tired. He fighting them, they tagging off, they just taking turns on him. And so Barry Windham comes in to help. And they start beating him up. And so when he went to tag Lex Luger was still hurt from how he was getting beat up. So Barry Windham grabs his hand and makes the tag for him and picks him up and body slams him into the ring. And Luger was already hurt. So Luger trying to get up. Like, what are you doing? He trying to get up. He goes back, runs back to the ropes, and does his finishing move on him, the lariat. Luger was just out. And so after that, they start feuding. That remind me of marriage, man. I'm going to tell you. Y'all supposed to be a tag team. So when y'all start getting beat up, you know, you supposed to be a team. Barry Windham got mad because he was getting beat up and Luger didn't help him. But Luger was still hurt. How many grudges are held in marriages over something that happens during a marriage? Then it's like a cancer. It just eats away at it until it's gone. You can't hold grudges when you marry. Because here's what happens. This is what happens. When you hold a grudge while you marry, and I'm going to wrap this up in like 5 minutes. You hold a grudge. You saying this, you doing this, you not doing this. And now, down the line, you start feeling better. But you was doing all that stuff and saying all that stuff while you was holding a grudge. You done messed up everything. I don't believe in that death do us part. I believe in do your part. Not death do us part. Why should a man with all the women around stay with a woman who don't believe in him, don't respect him, not having sex with him, not helping him, just becomes useless over time because she's holding grudges against him, because she has other issues that she never dealt with, that she's been carrying since she was a child. And now he's waking up. He's waking up, or he wakes up. And now he sees all of this. And he looks at it. And he says, you know what? This is beyond repair. It's too late. The worst, I'm going to tell you something. One of the worst things you could do is to always try to blame the other person. But I'm going to close. Thanks for watching. Keep tuning in. This is The Truth Man.